Hey wonderful people, and welcome back to more Gank Spanking. And guys, I really never had the chance to tell you that you guys are the best. You are amazing, really. Thank you for 10,000 subscribers. Actually, I'm close to 11,000. It's just unbelievable. Like, I really can't believe it. Like, you guys are the best. Your support is like super duper ooper blue 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 appreciated, really. And yeah, today we're gonna be talking about Gank Spanking. And I usually, compile a couple of Gank Spanks and put them in a video, and just a montage, low quality, nothing, just put them there, And it was not good. It wasn't received, in a good way. People said you should commentate, you should give some strategies and tips. It's very highly requested, and I said I'll do it. Gank Spanking, if you want to describe it the best way, there's an NPC in Dark Souls 1 that really describes it to the point, and here it is.
Exhilaration, pride, hatred, rage. The Gankers teased out our dearest emotions. Gank Spanking, knighthood's highest calling.
Oh yeah, but just instead of dragons, when he says dragons, just replace that with gankers or Gank Spanking and it will work. So yeah, it's a joke, but you know what I mean. Gank Spanking is really the highest thing you can go when you're, in PvP. And there's a lot of factors that goes in ganking. And by the way, when I say ganking, I mean any 2 or 3 versus 1 situation where you are clearly in a disadvantage. Now, if you want to go really like into depth and whatever, and the real gankers, the utmost, highest level, most motivated gankers are the one who summon red signs in Hades Tower of Flame and Iron Keep. That's of course I can't deny this. This is these are the true gankers, and these are fully ready to take you on with all their power. But me in this video, I'm gonna focus just in 2 or 3 versus 1. And I'm just gonna talk about what I'm thinking. There's nothing a lot to say, but I just want to cover, the basics of ganking. First of all, your biggest problem with ganking is usually you have one spellcaster. Spellcasters are the cancer of ganking. They make Gank Spanks 20 million more times more difficult, because when you're engaging with melee with the host or with this white phantom, you'll have that caster who just spams, and if you don't see that coming, you'll die in a second, especially with Crystal Soul Spears and Soul Spears and Crystal Soul, Great Resonant Soul, and all these spells. So you want to watch out for these. I really loved when Profound Still was much better, when you had double the cast that you can get now. I used to use that much more often, but now with the not the debuff doesn't take. It's not a debuff. Yeah, it is a debuff, but it doesn't take long, and it just have few casts, so it's not and very high stats to use. But it used to be my go-to. But when they nerfed that thing, you had to fight different ways. Profound Still just made the thing so much easier for ganking, so much easier. But now, if you can do a high-level build with it, well, go at a toss. But there's now other ways. First of all, you have to have a healing, spell. You have to all the time. I always go with Warmth or Great Heal, or if I'm high level, maybe I'll go with Great Heal Excerpt, whatever that's called. And yes, because the host will heal, the white phantoms will heal, so you should also heal to balance that field. I get a lot of comments in the Gank Spank videos that you heal and you're a noob because I heal in Gank Spanks. These guys, I don't know what's their logic. Even if the host is healing, if you heal, you're in the bad. And that's not true at all, because first of all, spells are there to use, and how are you gonna fight against it? It's just you're in a disadvantage. This is not Devil May Cry or Uncharted, where you kill people easily. You just can't go between them and attack. They will stun you to death. And before the Iron King patch, I believe, it was possible to get stun locked infinitely, because you had the guaranteed combos that they do, and they just go all out, and you can't do anything, and you just keep getting stunned until death. But From Software did us a favor, and they patched that, and now multi-hits, you can go out after a couple of hits, whatever it is. but still it can happen. It can happen. It's rare, but it can happen that they perfect the combos. Like as soon as they finish their 2-hit combo, the next guy starts his 2-hit combo, and the train goes on and on until death. So it's just you're a disadvantage, guys. You're a disadvantage. You have to do all that you can to win. Healing, backstabbing, guard breaking, parrying, mocking, which works effectively. Trust me, you know, keep mocking them and they will like follow you to the ends of the earth. Trust me, I always try to mock, or you know, people call me a dick about that, and I can't say anything. Yeah, I'm a dick in this aspect, but I just think they get annoyed, and it's good to annoy gankers. You know, it's good. It's all good. And don't get me wrong, I have nothing against co-opers, you know, nothing. I love co-op, I do co-op myself, although seldomly, but I still co-op. But as an invader, as you invade and you're looking for PvP, you should expect getting ganked. Or I mean, in a very difficult situation where you have to fight 2 or 3, and you don't want your orb to go for waste, although I never think about that, but some people do. And you wanna, you know, enjoy it. It's very enjoyable when you kill a gank, you know, you kill the host and he has like 2 people around him. Like you will feel like, oh damn, man, I'm good. Like I'm joking, but you know what I mean. And we really feel it's the biggest accomplishment. It's the most difficult thing. More difficult than fighting bosses, more difficult than anything. And as I said, you have to take your time. Now there's a couple of steps you have to like know the basics when you're ganking. Like choosing your weapon, for example. You should use a weapon that can hit more than one target, or you know, have a huge sweep horizontally, or a good, you know, long thrust also. But like weapons like a rapier, or these weapons where it's more 1v1 specific weapons, you know, like the rapier and maybe the long swords. But no, long swords I won't put it with that. But there is some weapons like the daggers, and some weapons are just not made for fighting more than one opponent. That's why you should use a reliable, good weapon that does a lot of damage. And strength weapons really shine sometimes against gankers, because especially when you need these backstabs, because you want that heavy damage. There's no way when you're melee. Now second thing, spells makes ganking so much easier. Like it's 100 folds more difficult to play as a melee than playing with spell or as a spellcaster. For example, using Crystal Soul Spear. Crystal Soul Spear goes through players, you know, and does heavy damage, like more than 1,000 easily. And they usually block it, and gankers, as I said, they will follow you until the ends of the earth. They won't expect anything. They won't roll, they won't do that bullshit. Of course, you will fight some gankers that know what they do, but usually don't expect it. They just feel that they're full in an advantage. They can spam whatever they want, but you will take advantage of that by using spells. Using spells makes things, as I said, much easier. Climax. Climax is maybe one of the best spells to use against gankers. Kill the first phantom with one freaking shot. Get his souls, kill the second, and kill the host. It's so easy, and especially, as I said, they don't expect it. They don't even roll. Just run, act like you're escaping or running away with fear, and just put that spell and press R1 or light attack and just look away and look at the guy, and he just dies. So easy. It's difficult to die actually when you have climax. Wrath of the Gods is also a very effective spell. It has a huge radius, enormous damage that can one-shot people, and as I said, when they're following you, you go behind a wall and initiate that spell, and they die in one hit. It makes it so much easier, and what's the most difficult thing is killing them with just melee. It's so much more difficult, guys, because you have to go in close proximity. Bows can actually work very good. There was one fight, but very long, like 9-minute fight in the third DLC, and I took it out. I killed 3 of them almost with a bow. Of course, I did the final blow with my weapon, but just so effective doing it. But you need, you know, some enemies to have some cover and stuff like that. Haiti is the most ganker friendly place in my opinion. It's just empty, and there's just one jump where you do behind, you know where I'm now? Behind in that hole. You can jump in the right, and that's the best way to escape gankers. Other than that, it's empty. The enemies are weak, even if there's enemies. And it's so ganker friendly. Like, it's open space for spammers, you know, spam all day. Iron Keep is better in my opinion. Of course, Iron Keep, if they have the door closed, it becomes way more difficult. But if it's open, it makes it much easier. You can jump to that jump and let them jump and use Wrath of the God and be creative, you know, or hit them with a bow, let them fall in the fire. There's many things to do. And that's why I always try to change the environment. First of all, not to get bored, because... And by the way, I haven't played Dark Souls 2 for a long time, maybe 3 weeks now. I'm just, you know, got burned, and I still love the game, but I don't want to, you know, I played this game a lot, and I'm just, you know, as I said before, I'm trying to make out of my life as much as possible before I play Bloodborne, so I can go back, you know, full attention to everything. And now, you know, Dark Souls 2 is almost 1 year old, and you know, it still have a lot of action. But yeah, I'm not playing these days Dark Souls 2. But yeah, let's move on and say more things that you need to know about ganking. So yeah, that's why I keep changing the environment, you know, to have different enemies and the different maps to use for different strategies, which makes it interesting, especially with different builds, you know, to keep things interesting. And of course, the most you'll find gankers is Iron Keep and Hades. And but you still find people who are co-oping in other areas, and I really enjoy these fights. I like try to find them actually, because they're enjoyable even if I lose, like, because I'm in a disadvantage. I don't mind it at all. It just puts you in a challenge. Very interesting. Like, you can do, you play differently, you know, you can't, like, it's different than 1 versus 1, which is so lame now for me, to say the truth. I just got bored from it. Dueling is just boring, same shit, same thing. And sorry I'm saying that, but really I really got bored from 1 versus 1, because I like always to try new stuff, and ganking never gets boring, never ever. It's just so, it's like, you know, it's like chess almost. The probability of stuff happening differently is almost infinite. Every gank is different than the other, and you lose, you win. I lose a lot of ganks also, and I win a lot, but I enjoy them the most. Like, if you're a PvPer and you PvP for a long time as me, I know that you share the same feeling. And of course, some people will prefer always dueling over anything, but yeah, each one to his taste. But yeah, you should use the enemies. You know how much hate I got from my videos that I use, you know, go back to the enemies and use them, and I get hate because I heal. Anything I do, I get hate. But I mean, like, what the fuck, man? Like, I'm against 3 freaking people. I'm gonna use the enemies. I'm gonna use everything. Of course, some hosts will have seed of the tree of the giant, with tree seed, whatever that thing is, seed of a giant, which makes enemies also go against you. That's the most difficult gank, when you have 3 fully equipped gankers and enemies, where because that means you can't heal, you can't do anything. And in these situations, you get lucky with melee, with like a parry or a backstab one shot or something like that, or have spell and spam all day. But either way, it's gonna be a very difficult. And as I said, spells makes this like so much easier. I can't even, like, melee, it's almost like you know, if you beat people with just melee, you're very good in this game. Even if they're first time players, all they can do is just press R1 with long swords and they might win, even against an effective player, because that much you're in disadvantage while you're against more than 1 people. But in these maps, like here in Hunman Scopes, you can actually turn the whole map to your advantage. And as I said, usually co-opers or gankers, whatever they are, they usually want to like follow you, kill you as soon as possible, and won't give you any chance to heal. And you're gonna take advantage of that and let them follow you till the ends of the map, and then, like, when they think they're in advantage, even though you're like 1 hit away, they realize they're gonna die from the PvP and PvE enemies. That's especially true in higher NG pluses, where in this map, for example, going to the area where you get where you fight what's he called, the executioner, yeah, I think executioner, the chariot executioner, whatever he's called, where you join the Red Blood Covenant. And by the way, how did this guy not die? How? Like, explain that to me. I was surprised that he lived. But yeah, there's, you know, these enemies, they're very strong in NG plus, and they become red. If they follow you there, they're just gonna die. There's just no way around it. And yeah, so you can use the enemies, and it's so much fun, as I said, because it always plays out differently. And I enjoy it, really. It's the best thing you can get out of PvP in this game, when when you played it a lot. Really, it gives you adrenaline rush like nothing else. And you always have to choose between 3 things: retreating, or engaging, or healing. And you have to know when to retreat. Never be greedy when you're ganking, because one mistake and you're dead. You're dead. I'm literally saying that. If you do one mistake, you can die in 1 second. So you can't risk these, and sometimes you just have to retreat to try to separate them. That you have to try to do that. Use the environment to separate them, or put them in a tight place where they can't engage you three at the same time. Because it's just, as I said, you're a big disadvantage. There's somebody's going to be using a bow or a spell which will stun you every time you try to do something. So you have to try to separate them, use the environment in your advantage. Of course, you have to have effective build. Like if you have a stupid, build where you're just having fun, it's just so much more difficult to kill these guys, especially, 150 SL and higher PvP. It becomes, because it's not easy to kill someone. You have, especially melee, you have to like hit them 10 times or something like that to kill them, and with their assistance of other phantoms. And look here, what I'm trying to do here, I know that I might die any second, and if I try to put the pup that warmed, he's gonna kill me with the bow. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to let him hit an enemy by mistake, and it will happen. They will hit them. I'm not sure, but yeah, look, it happened here. Now the advantage is building for me with time, of course. Now the more they hit people, the more they try to engage the enemy, the more of these guys will get resurrected and try to kill them, and that's what in the end will kill them, not me. PvE enemies, and laugh my ass off and without doing anything. Here they think that I'm fully in disadvantage, which I am, but I'm gonna take advantage of this disadvantage by letting them keep following you. Don't be scared. You have to be, you don't have to be scared or rush or anything. Just roll and try to stay calm, and you will get, even if you're silver away of health and one hit away, you can still get away with it. But of course, sometimes they will get you. But I mean, stay patient, roll, and these enemies will get them. So as I said, you have to use the environment, and every map, of course, plays differently. The most interesting ones are the DLC, to say the truth. But the DLC, I just want to invade instantly, and sometimes in the second and first DLC, you have to wait a bit. Although, still, you can find instant invasions, but in the first and second one, there's places where it takes ages to find the host, even if you have like 2 phantoms. But in general, it makes the most interesting, for enemies and even for the host. I think I really enjoy when I'm co-oping or playing by myself PvE and I get invaded. I really do enjoy if the enemy is using his if the guy is using the enemies in the map. It becomes interesting. Sometimes they can be fully dick, like heal every second, but still it can be nice, especially when you have white phantoms. Even the host is gonna have difficulty killing a experienced player. I'm not saying like the host is 100% on the advantage, but they will have difficult time. That's why they'll do everything they can. So it's both, for everyone, it's very enjoyable. Ganking also in Dark Souls 2 is much more difficult. Sorry, Gank Spanking in Dark Souls 2 is much more difficult than Gank Spanking Dark Souls 1. Way more difficult. Dark Souls 1, you had a lot of lethal options that really can end the ganks easily. Hornet Ring, constant backstab fishing, backstab the first guy, parry the second as soon as you finish the backstab. If it wasn't successful, toggle escape to a parry. Not successful, still toggle escape, run away, pop a humanity. So you much easier to gank in Gank Spank in Dark Souls 1. Of course, it's also much easier to kill the invader in Dark Souls 1 with backstabbing and the same methods. But I mean, you just can one-shot and two-shot people in Dark Souls 1. Toggle escaping makes a world of a difference. And if, in case you don't know what toggle escaping is, it was a thing in Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 where you can escape any combo. Literally, you just spam that D-pad on the right or left and change a weapon, and you go out of the stunning animation, and it goes to the animation where you switch a weapon and just escape getting stun locked to death, which you can do in Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2, as soon as you're hit, you're gonna wait for the second guaranteed hit of your opponent, and then the other two guys will have that come closer to you, and everything becomes more dangerous. So getting hit is, you have to just try not to get hit while getting ganked. And look here, I'm using the enemies fully in my advantage. I'm not being a dick, because I will die if I don't do that. And sometimes you want to win. Winning is nice against these guys. Although, as I said, even if you lose, it's still very enjoyable, because it's different from the norm, fighting 1 versus 1. But Dark Souls 1, much easier to gank spank. Dark Souls 2, it's not even... The game also is not made like to engage more than one guy in PvP. That's how I feel. Like this game is more like 1 versus 1 oriented, the combat. It's still possible, but like you have to know how to lock on, because if you don't, you can't get any gank spank, literally, because you'll be heavy disadvantaged. You keep locked on first and one guy or something like that. You have to know when to lock off and run away and retreat, and also to roll between them without getting locked on and screwing your timings. So yeah, and look here, man, Spells makes this one. I laughed my ass off when he fell. That was very lucky, and I really laughed at that time. It was super funny. I never seen. I'm using it like force, you know, Soul Flash. Just end it there. Just drop him out. Gravity, of course, ganking had much easier ways before patches. Like, for example, you had the Ultra Great Swords with the running attack. They will let your opponent like fly in the air like a bird and just go and die with the gravity, which you can do now. You can do it with places with no ledges, with like Bone Fist. You can do it. You can also do it with Ultra Great Swords. We have to be very close to the ledge. But this is done. You can't do that anymore. Great Resonant Soul used to be super OP. Just spam that until you win. And everything that was, you know, made ganking easier was patched in a way. So all in all, you have to be really experienced to get Gank Spanks, even against noob players. You have to really like calculate every, like know when to engage, when to run, when to heal, when to use your environment, when to when to put super pressure on the host before he heals, because they will heal, and they will heal between the phantoms because they have this sense of security which which you will prove them wrong with, because they think that they're fully backed up from their bodyguards. But you will try, you know, as I said, take advantage of every disadvantage you have, in other words. And one more thing, I think also having a high stability shield is also, like, as I said, you shouldn't block that much when you're getting ganked, but you should have a high stability shield in case when you're cornered or something, you can block a couple of hits and then roll. So having a shield is good, but not you know, heavy shield, because this thing, I don't know why people use great shields in PvP. There is some, like when in 1v1, it's alright, but I mean in general it's just heavy, so heavy, and increases your burden. Like, you can't even parry with these things. They're good for PvE. PvP, they have some uses. Yeah, the bash, shield bashes, some of them are pretty strong, but you have to know what you're doing if you want to use them. Other than that, there's just a disadvantage, especially that people can guard break you. So there's nothing more to say about gank spanking. And please guys, if you were like a super good gank spanker, please share your strategies and tactics in the comment section, because I'm sure many people use different stuff and many people are creative in different ways, and I'm sure there's a lot of effective things I don't know about. So please let us know your ways. And yeah, this is my way, I'm showing it here. And yeah, there's nothing else to say about ganking, but I want to say other things like guys, I really want to thank you for all your support, and especially that Dark Souls 2 is in the end of its cycle. I know it's gonna, you know, live again when the PS4 version and then, you know, the new version comes out, Scholar of the First Sin. But you know, in general, it's the end of this life cycle in this gen, and I really enjoyed this game. I still have at least 5 videos for you guys, interesting ones. But now all my you know, concentration is in Bloodborne, like from, you know, all the snippets that we get from IGN, exclusive things, and all the things that we watch about this game. For me, it looks a super good game, especially that they already, especially director Miyazaki, who did Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1, didn't disappoint. I'm sure Bloodborne, and especially the way it looks and how the game feels, and it seems different from the Souls games, the combat, you know, and it looks really interesting. And I can't wait to delve in the mechanics and the ways and how PvP is gonna work and the story, everything. Like, I'm so hyped, and I really feel bad for the people who can't play this game. And I hope, like, in the future they will, if you get a cheap PS4 or something like that. And of course, another nice point is about everybody's gonna be playing in the same system. This thing does have advantages, like, you know, you know that everyone who's going to be playing this game is going to be playing it in one system. It's not going to be PC. Another thing, usually as soon as the PC version comes out, every secret goes out, like everything that we might found out later, or somebody who invested more time could have found. Just, you know, everybody knows everything, because PC, you can decode like everything. You can get everything, know about every weapon, every area, every little thing, every, you know, dialogues that we like you didn't get. So you have to experiment more and be, you know, it's gonna be still sharing ideas with the community is gonna be still very like strong as ever, but it's gonna be not as fast and ruining everything for everyone like in PC. And of course that means one of the best things I'm excited for is, you know what's the thing, I'm not against Mega Mules, like I don't really like, it's cheating in my opinion. It's cheating in my opinion. I just see it plain cheating. But at least in PlayStation 4, you know that like what makes you want to use a Mega Mule the most is when you're not using a Mega Mule and putting all this time to do a legitimate build, and then you fight someone who just downloaded something and has everything. You know, it just feels not fair. And in PS4 and Bloodborne, I hope all this just goes. And it will, I hope so. And guys, thanks really for watching, and sorry about my rambling, because this is just fully unscripted, me talking, and I really just wanted, you know, to talk about stuff. Thanks guys for staying until now, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye bye.